Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to a cast of the massive fleet tournament for Battlefleet Gothic Armada 2. I am Airsickhydra and I am here with EnterElysium. What's up, buddy?
Hello!
We're going to be doing a little cast today, and hopefully with two of the four best players in this game, we're going to have some decent footage to watch. So, cracking things off, we are here with the Orc fleet. E, how do you feel about Orcs?
They're just a bit too short range for me, but they are very scary when they get in. And I'm interested to see what they do versus Necrons, because both of them are pretty damn short range.
Yeah, absolutely. And the size of that slug, I mean, for me, the question is when you have a ginormous slug for your flagship, is the question of will it ever make it into combat with a speed of 120? Because it's matches like this, sometimes you wish you had the fast forward button for this ship. It's a little bit on the sluggish side. Oh, and it looks like a slug.
To be fair, I think the Orc ships all look like slugs to an extent. They're just bigger slugs than smaller slugs.
Yeah, definitely. And on that note, it's probably a good time now to apologise for any mispronunciations of ships. I'm going to do any 40k terminology I will make, because some will probably get offended. But hey, just blame me for being English, I guess.
I mean, blame both of us, really.
Yeah, absolutely. Two English casters as well. What were they thinking? This will probably turn into a cricket match halfway through, and a gentle patter of a clap will come out come the victory screen. So I'm looking forward to that. Especially seeing these ships collide, actually, because we got Blood Axes against Necrons, and I'm assuming here, and yes, it would seem that the Blood Axes are going for the cunning but brutal approach of having a stealthy sub-faction choice for their ship, so they're going to be sneaking along the battlefield, I believe, with the Admiral not being stealthed with Shroud Hull. I mean, it kind of makes sense not to shroud something quite that large.
I wonder how they're even going to try and avoid that large slug, because you can't really avoid it when you also want to be in close.
True. And this is a point game still. And the question is will they even get near 5,000 points before one has just battered the other? With massive fleet mode, the points seem to take a little bit less priority. You seem to just basically end up having a massive battle. And for most times, I think we'll see a snowball. But hey, I'm watching good players play here, and I'm expecting to pick up a few tips from them. And I'm going to be impressed by hotkey usage and all sorts of things.
Hotkey usage? What is that? I click everything and get told off for it.
Oh boy, it's the worst. It's the worst. I've still not learned the boarding hotkeys, even though I've made a video saying how important hotkeys are. Like, that's the hypocrite I am. So, we have a continental breakfast fleet, or more like a full-blown buffet for the Necrons here, with croissant everywhere. I mean, how many is that? What's that, 7?
7 battleships, yep.
Okay, that's quite a few. And presumably they're going for the old morale loss route. That's my assumption anyways. They will teleport in there, destroy the Orc morale, and then, I don't know, laugh in Necron.
Hopefully survive. The problem is, can they survive the counterboarding?
True, counterboarding can hurt. I mean, I'm curious to see what ship choices do we have up here. I didn't actually watch. We've got mass recall. That seems to be like a staple for Necrons, and that's going to be brutal with a fleet like this as well. I wonder if we're going to see some cunning play coming out from mass recall.
I just wonder how cunning they can be when there's just that much firepower right against them. It's gonna come down to where they can micro those ships away from that, what, 4.5k range weaponry?
Yeah, true. But they are also Shroud Hull, so they're going to be sneaking around, and it's going to be up to Necron to discover them. And I'm curious here, will we just see a big old slap of ships in the middle, or will we see some sort of cunning and yet brutal play from the Orc? Because normally, let's face it, when you go with Blood Axe, you think, right, I've got sneaky ships, so what I'll do is I'll charge up the middle. They won't see that coming. So we'll see.
They are being sportsmanlike.
Nice to see the pleasantries, the equivalent of a digital handshake. It's always nice to see.
And now we're going to play cricket.
Absolutely.
That's how it works.
Capturing the points, I like it. Prioritising the objectives. It's the games you don't do it that you lose to it, so it's got to be done.
Yep.
Nice hotkey usage as well. You can notice that these players are using groups. I could definitely pick up a few tips here from not just telling people to group your ships, but actually use the hotkeys afterwards. Very helpful.
I love it when you group the ships, though, and it causes the ships to all go off the edge of the screen. You get that little scroll bar. That tells you you've done your micro right.
Yes, very, very important strategy. So, both fleets heading towards each other. It may be a little bit of downtime now, so this is... To be honest, if you're in an Orc ship right now, I mean, you want to be careful not to get yourself riled up too prematurely, because you could quite easily war a little early here.
I mean, just spend the extra time polishing your chopper, make sure your sluggers are all loaded. I don't know, what do orcs do in their downtime? Fight amongst themselves?
Fighting. Absolutely. Absolutely. Now, on that note, let's try and get the names of some of these orc ships right once we flip over to the orc view, because I have a feeling this player's chosen the most awkward names possible just to try and throw me.
Yeah, because there's 3 types of Deadnot, right? And this is the most annoying to pronounce. It's the Ordgargdaka.
I'm fairly sure it says donkey in there as well somewhere. It's like the donkey smacker. I'm not sure.
Just call it the donkey for now, right?
It'll do. It'll do. I mean... Okay, so in terms of battle strategy thus far, got a few escorts scattered around. It looks like we've got some fighters heading in to do a little bit of scouting. Escorts being used. Nice to see. Nice to see.
I'm honestly surprised that they aren't clumping up as much as I thought they would already.
Yeah, fairly spread out. But I guess with the shroud hull of the orc, I would think clump. But hey, these players know what they're doing far more than I do.
They've just spotted 3 of the Cairns on the right flank.
Nice to see. Nice to see. Scouts coming out. Enemies revealed. Of course, the Necrons have the nice advantage of being able to just teleport out of there and get back to safety. It's even those orc little escorts, though, can do some really significant damage. Some of them have like 8 DPS, 8 damage points per second. For a little ship that costs 30 points, I mean, that's not bad. That can
probably why this is the biggest escort list in the entire tournament. And it's only got 11
so
escorts.
Much choice. How an orc admiral chooses what ships to take is beyond me. There's too much choice out there.
Personally, I always just take 100% orc ram ships and hope that's okay. I am not an orc player, though, so I don't know.
So, in terms of strategy right now, we've got 2 main clumps. We've got the Necrons sitting around the gas clouds, which seems to be a pretty popular tactic. I mean, hey, why not?
Oh, they just found all the cans.
Oh, there you go. There is a whole bunch of Necrons in that cloud. Now, got second orc wave. Lagging quite far behind here. I'm presuming that they will war into existence at some point.
I'm just a bit
soon.
concerned that they might be a bit too split up to actually support each other.
This is true. This is true. I mean, the Necrons are incredibly tightly knit right now, going for a broadside manoeuvre now to try and get out the way of these orc ships. Necrons all getting grouped up right now, keeping all of their ships together, whereas the orcs, multiple angles to approach from. Will we see kiting here from the Necrons?
I hope so, because they're getting pretty boarded already.
A continental kiting croissant fleet. I'd never thought I'd see it.
It's like a buffet for the orcs.
Yeah, it is. It is. I mean, it's looking... I don't know what it's looking like right now. Points-wise, we're on 280 and 460, so there's really not a lot to be said there. We're waiting for the first few ships to go down. It does look like one of those Cairns, though, is probably on its way out.
Yep, that Cairn is not going to live very long at all, especially with all those Deadnots in front of it.
Definitely, and that is around 500 points down the drain.
Oh.
The orc ships in return much cheaper, and that's some nice damage. That was the Nova Cannon, if I remember correctly. You see, the morale has taken a little bit of a hit for pretty much all ships. There's a few orc dreadnoughts deciding to run.
Yeah, a few of them are just taking a massive hit there.
Yeah, nice to have the ability to still execute your crew when your decks have been destroyed for the orcs as well. Almost mandatory, that ability, just because you never know when your orcs are going to start running away. Well, you do, kind of, because, well, something's happened. But let's see if this slug makes it in. It's still catching up. I mean, will it win the day? That's the question. Will it be the last ship
I just wonder if
left?
that slug is just going to get there too late. Either they're all going to be dead, or the slug's going to get there and get mobbed.
Quite possible. Quite possible. Nova Cannon coming in. Let's see if we get some hits here. It does seem that the let's say, semi-fast manoeuvring of the Necrons here might be enough to outwit the orcs.
Yeah, the front orc ships are all pretty badly damaged. All 5 of them are actually pretty low.
Absolutely. And once they start going down as well, there'll be a cascading morale issue.
Yep, there we go. That one went, caused 4 mutinies.
Very, very painful. And still quite a few Necrons left, but, well, we do have a flagship that can, in theory, rally them if it can get close enough, but it's going to have to do a few red buttons to get to a safe position, I think. Not looking too spicy for the orcs right now.
No, they had a good first engagement, but this is actually... Oh, they did take down another can. I'm not sure. It's going to be enough, though.
I mean, maybe this large ship at the end will just be able to chase them around the map. So I'm sure it's got some pretty amazing firepower if it can get close enough. But will these ships just kite it into oblivion? We do have the
will it
rally
be able to get there before the point
in.
limit goes?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Point limit. Oh, we're still a little way away from the 5k right now. We've still got a few thousand left to go, so we shall see. Always feel like this is a very rare game mode to see one on points. Primarily just pure carnage.
I mean, if it comes down to just that giant slug and a few cans, the cans can just outmaneuver it and just stay at range if they can time it out.
That is true. Very, very true. And have we seen the mass recall come in here, or did he not pick it? Maybe I just can't read anymore. That's entirely possible.
I mean, it's massive fleet mode, right? So you've got so much going on, it's hard to keep track of everything.
Yeah, definitely. I'm impressed with the general play here of the Necron, doing some nice toying with the Orcs, let's say. The Necron's just simply playing with its food. Not that Necron's particularly interested in eating shrooms, but still, some nice play.
Maybe they just fancy hors d'oeuvres for once.
Definitely. Definitely.
At the end of the day, we can just agree on one thing, and that is that they are Xenos scum. So whoever loses, good day.
Exactly, exactly. If both of these fleets get left with one ship, that's still one too many for each in my books. I mean,
Exactly.
Yeah. I mean, what are we watching here? Where is the Imperium right now?
I mean, just happy that they're both wiping each other out. This is possibly the one faction, like, pair-up that you don't care, because Necrons won't get stronger if the Orcs lose, and Orcs won't really get stronger off Necrons, really.
I'm gonna tickle your canon knowledge here. Now, was it the Orcs that were created to keep the Necrons at bay, or was that the Tyranids? Or...
No, yeah, you're right. The Orcs were created by the old ones to suppress the Necrons, or whatever they were called, the Necron tier, in their day.
So the question is then, really, how are they doing at their job?
I mean, so far, I've got to say the Necrons are not doing too badly. They're keeping out of range, and they're causing a lot of mutinies, so I'm not sure the old ones would be particularly pleased with the Orcs so far.
Yeah, definitely. And we have seen our first tactical recall come out there, at least the first one that I've observed when not just admiring the huge ships flying around on the screen. And we now have a place or a position where we can pick off the odd ship for free. I'm wondering if this will perhaps snowball. Perhaps we're going to see the more or slightly more micro-intensive play coming out now. It's going to be interesting to watch the next few minutes.
I do feel a little bit sorry for Imperatus, though, because Imperatus managed to get that Space Hulk just in range, and then they just mass recalled away.
That's pretty nasty. Yep, and the Nova Cannon managed to make a connection with a couple of ships, but still they've managed to take out the Orc ship there. That's going to be easy to finish off, make their way into the gas cloud. And I think they've got the speed here to keep the Orcs on the run. So my expectation is we're going to have probably a good 5 to 10 minutes now of running away from the Orcs.
Yep. And it's going to come down to whether the Necrons can actually successfully pick off a few while running away, or whether they'll get boxed in. So far, the Orcs haven't managed to box them in.
Definitely.
And
I think
time
this also
does
shows...
benefit them.
After you, good sir.
Well, time does benefit the Necrons because they'll just regen their hull. So if they can extend the match, they'll get the winning.
Oh, that is very cunning. That is very cunning. Absolutely. And it's at this point in the game you realise you're watching some people that are trying to win and probably know a bit about what they're doing as well, because no more are they smacking ships together. Instead, they've decided to try and do tactical things such as running away, regenning, kiting. I mean,
you say that, I'm pretty sure the Orcs are still running in and trying to hit them.
Yeah, I was mainly talking about the Necron there, to be fair. The Orc strategy tends to be a constant. It's very Orc. Bunch. It's very Orc, yeah. It does what it says on the tin. It was. And
although
it chases
that said,
and gets
that is a big fleet of, what is that, fighters?
I will call them fighters, I believe so.
And
that's
they
a
all
beautiful
got wiped
ram
out.
coming in there. Unfortunately, the shockwave coming from the Cairns just more or less makes fighters a bit redundant in this. But hey, it's still nice to see them fly around and do their thing.
It might come down to just the big slug and like a couple of cans.
I would like to see that. Just one or two ships left just bashing into each other. I think that would be a decent way of doing it. Well, shouts out to the steam pop-up down in the corner. No one saw that. Right.
It's good to know the 41st Millennium, they still have Steam.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I mean, the Mechanicus are a bit obsessed with it. I heard a few
it's
of them
how
are
Necrons
like...
get their updates.
Yeah, a few of them are talking about the Epic Store, but they've quickly been labelled heretics, and they're
is
out
that
now.
how the old ones started fighting the Necrons? It was like a Steam versus Epic Store thing.
Downhill from there, man. Downhill from there. So, what have we got? Oh, we got torpedoes coming out now. Oh, that's going to be beautiful. Please hit. Please hit. Oh, that's lovely.
Oh,
that's lovely. It's always nice when torpedoes do something, especially with a ship that fires them out 4 directions simultaneously. And no friendly fire was taken.
Yeah, that's my problem with any ship that does a weird torpedo launch. I always go, ha, I hit someone. Also, I hit 2 of my own. You didn't see that.
I mean, it's normally a net positive for an Orc, but then, well, morale damage, I guess, is a thing. So we do have a ship here which could be scuttled. Will it blow loads of stuff up? Will it not? Looks like a notch right now.
Oh, but mutinies are strong.
Yeah,
but
I feel like that...
they can't get away from that slug.
It may well win the day here. But yeah,
I do love how it's pushing the Hulk, though.
Bit of feng shui. I think the Hulk looked much better over there.
All right, this Hulk will look better over here. Just push it that way. Yeah, it makes the Dakar better.
Indeed. Indeed. And, yeah.
Oh, Shockwave's coming out.
Here it comes. Come on, man. Put the camera back on it. There we go. Yes. Good Lord, give me a replay.
No!
A replay mode so I can... No, he's moving the camera away. Oh. With we got it. The casters. There we go. We caught the edge. We caught the edge. That tiny little fire there is going to be enough to finish that ship off, I believe. It's probably ticking down its last few health points. Good night. Beautiful. Right,
it's down to 2 cannons, 2 escorts versus... How many Orc ships are left?
Too many.
Yeah.
A ginormous slug, though. At the end of the day, I don't see... Oh, wow. That's going to be lovely. Oh, that's a shame. That's
nicely
a shame.
Cancelled.
Oh, that Orc right then was probably so excited until his feelings just got crushed. It's the worst feeling when you've got a whole wave of torpedoes that just disappear to a Necron. It just makes you feel sad. Still, ginormous ship's currently chasing it down. I don't think it's going to be too long before a little bit of extra damage is done. However, it is worth pointing out now that the Team Red over here are filthy Necron player does have more points by a fair degree as well. Or is this the Orc player? I'm getting confused because we keep flipping.
It's hard to tell. Oh, here we go. Teleported out the way.
Damn. They've got so many tools up their belt to make torpedoes and fighters just less useful.
The worst pair-up, in my opinion, is when you get Space Marines versus Necrons, because every time you're trying to get that sweet boarding action, and they can just cancel it.
Definitely. So now the kiting's really coming into play. We're going for some nice long-distance kiting, but the Orc is actually looking okay. We got all of those points captured now for the Orc, so it's only really a matter of time.
And they've got that lead of, 1,300 points?
Yeah, that one ship, if they can take it down there, that will be enough to secure the victory. If not, it's just a matter of time. But it's been a good game to watch, I think.
It was. I think the big turn really came when they managed to actually get the Space Hulk in, because once it got in, it did a lot of damage.
Did indeed. It's that risk-reward with Orcs, is you've got to chase, things are going to look pretty grim, but once you manage to get in there and do some damage, oh boy, you watch them teleport away like a cheeky little... Oh, they're so cheeky. They're so cheeky. He's just going to play with our emotions here. I can see it coming. Or is he?
Oh, just outside the blast wave.
Goddamn.
There is that, 5-second tick after the blast wave.
Yeah.
Looks like it's finished.
I know. Yeah, it looks like it's pretty much over now, but it's been a good first game to watch. I believe we have 3 games in total, so we're going to be watching these players play each other and see how we do. This has been the first of many, and hopefully there'll be more good stuff to come, because this has been enjoyable and nice to see players controlling large fleets doing a good job of consistently microing and looking after their ships, trying to keep them alive, and it just goes to show persistency. Persistence for an Orc is definitely an important thing.
Yeah, I mean, the single-minded nature does tend to help with that. But Imperator's there, crushing the Necrons. Jamadon tried it, but couldn't keep at range long enough.
And I have to say well done to him as well, because I feel like he made the Orc work very hard for that.
Yeah, no, there were about 3 times where tried to lock him down and he just noped out, like there. Perfect example.
Yeah. Definitely slippery to catch up with, especially for a Blood Axe, because you don't have the speed increases compared to something like the Red Fleets, which of course go much faster. But overall, a good game to watch. Looking forward to the next one, and I think what we'll do is sign out here, and see you next time, guys. Have a great day.
Stay shiny.